Okay, so from homework helpers to friends they can chat with anytime, day or night, artificial intelligence is showing up in our kids' lives in some really personal ways. I mean, these AI companions are literally designed to be friendly, super helpful, and always available. But as they get more and more tangled up in our kids' daily routines, you gotta ask, are they a game-changing tool for learning and connection, or do they hide a new kind of danger we haven't seen before? To really get it, we need to look at why these things were even created.
Right, so it's really important to get this. These AI buddies didn't just pop up out of thin air. As its quote points out, they were actually created to solve a very real and growing problem, an epidemic of loneliness among young people. The big idea was to offer a friendly, non-judgmental ear, 24/7. And honestly, that promise is a huge reason they've gotten so popular so incredibly fast. And we're not talking about some obscure app you have to go digging for. Nope, this tech is being woven right into the platforms our kids already live on. I mean, just look at how widespread this is. On Snapchat, you've got My AI, which is literally sold as a friend. In gaming worlds, like Roblox, you can have these custom AI bots that simulate really deep conversations. And this is a big one, it's even in places we trust for education. Khan Academy's Khan Migo can help with math or let a kid chat with, say, Albert Einstein. And that's key, because when a child learns to trust an AI in a safe space like for homework, it can totally lower their guard everywhere else. This AI is everywhere our kids are.
So the sales pitch is a helpful friend or a tutor that knows everything. But here's where we hit our first major red flag. And it all boils down to one simple, kind of scary fact. Sometimes the AI just gets things wrong. Like, very wrong.
There's a technical term for this, hallucination. It's when a chatbot, with all the confidence of a top expert, just serves up an answer that is completely made up or factually wrong. It sounds totally plausible, it's written perfectly, but it's just not true. And that brings us to a really crucial question. If your child is using one of these tools for homework or maybe for advice, what actually happens when their trusted AI guide starts making things up?
Well, the consequences can be incredibly serious. We've got documented cases where a chatbot in a medical simulation told a fake patient to kill themselves. In another case, an AI gave out dangerously wrong advice on traffic laws. For a student, it might just invent fake sources for a research paper. The real danger here is that users, especially kids, might just take this advice as gospel without ever thinking to double-check it.
And this goes so much deeper than just getting a fact wrong. When a kid relies too much on these tools, it can actually short-circuit their ability to think critically, right? If the AI always has the answer, the kid never learns the struggle and the process of finding it for themselves. It creates what experts are calling a deceptive sense of mastery. They feel like they know the subject, but really, they've just outsourced the thinking. And that trust, built on getting a math problem right, can make them way less skeptical of advice from any AI, whether it's about history or their personal problems. So, beyond the risks to learning, there's a much more complicated emotional danger we really need to talk about. It has to do with the actual relationship kids are forming with these AI. Just look at the kind of avatars these companions often have. They're designed to be friendly, kind of cartoonish, super approachable. And that is not an accident. It's a very deliberate choice to make them feel like a real friend.
This whole design can lead to something called a parasocial relationship. Basically, it's an emotional bond that's completely one-sided. The child is investing real feelings, real friendship, real trust, but they're giving it all to a complex algorithm that literally cannot feel anything back.
As Trent Ray from the Cyber Safety Project says here, these chatbots are designed to be emotionally responsive. They actually learn to say the right things, to ask caring questions, and to remember things you've told them. All of this makes the connection feel incredibly real and valuable to a child, but it's exactly what makes them so vulnerable. Yeah, and research from Harvard Business School points to two really serious outcomes here. First, dysfunctional dependence, where a child starts to rely on the AI for emotional support to a really unhealthy degree. And second, something called ambiguous loss. Just imagine your child's best friend simply disappears one day because an app gets an update or the company shuts it down. The grief is real, but there's nothing real to mourn, and that creates a really confusing and painful experience. So we've got cognitive risks and emotional risks. But unfortunately, there is a third and much more malicious category. And this is where these powerful tools are used intentionally to exploit and harm children. This number, it's just staggering. In the last 2 years alone, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children's cyber tip line got over 7,000 reports related to generative AI being used for child exploitation. And let's be real, that's probably just the tip of the iceberg. And the ways predators are misusing this tech, it's just chilling. They're using AI to create fake, explicit images of children, which is made terrifyingly easy by so-called nudify apps. They're generating super realistic text to groom victims more effectively than ever before. And they're using these fake images in sextortion schemes to blackmail kids. It's a whole new, terrifying toolkit for predators.
The risks are obviously very serious. So the big question is, what can we actually do about it? Well, the good news is there are clear steps we can take.
First, we've got to understand the playing field. Right now, it's basically a regulatory gray zone. In the US, most of these apps are just considered general wellness products, so they're not regulated by the FDA. The EU is a bit ahead of the curve with its AI Act, which bans manipulative tech, but oversight is still playing catch-up. The main takeaway here? We can't sit around and wait for regulators to solve this for us. The Cyber Safety Project offers a really clear 5-step plan for parents. 1, stay curious and actually learn about the apps your kids are using. 2, ask tough questions. Not just what the app does, but how does it make you feel? 3, set healthy limits, just like you would with any other screen time. 4, be a good role model for how to use AI safely. And finally, number 5, know the signs of when something's wrong and be ready to step in.
So we end on this question. In this new world we're in, one of your child's most influential friends might not be a person at all. It might be a piece of code that's just designed to act like one. The question for all of us really is, have we taken the time to properly get to know this new friend in their life?